humanities are also, I'll say that people, there are a good number of people who ultimately come and do the thing silently. Umran may be one of the things which is doing a lot of positive activity silently. Of course, it's okay. There are people who are going to appreciate it sooner or later. But ultimately, the things matter. You are doing it positive thing at the grassroots level. And again, as I said it, I wrote to you also. You are in fact creating from the tubular vision to the very open, vast vision, global vision, holistic vision. So this is very important.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, thank you very much for your encouraging words. It's really difficult, but we have been doing so.
Yeah.
So I think we can start now. I start recording, and then we can start. I'm also excited about this discussion because I personally wanted to learn so many things. Good afternoon and good evening, or some people who have joined from other, I mean, the America, good morning, or those who are from UK, good morning to you. My name is Rajiv Kumar, and I'll be hosting this program. I'm doing a PhD at Ibn Khaldun University, and my area of interest is South Asian studies, Indic literature, Islamic literature, and also I take much interest in philosophy and also religious studies, theology. Today we are going to have. I was very much interested to host this program on the book discussion, "The Mind You Want to Change," which is very much deep rooted in the Indic philosophy. Also engaging various disciplines in this book, this book has been recently published, written and published by Dr. Suresh Bansal. He is a neurologist, and we have a discussant for this for today, Professor Mousumi G Banerjee, and I would like to tell about the program that we are going to have a discussion, because this discussion is going to be very important. Why? Because Dr. Suresh Bansal, he's a neurologist, and Professor Mousumi G Banerjee, she is from the Humanities department, which is my department. And the first time we'll be having this, science and humanities. I'll be hosting this such program, where communicating and then having a deep understanding of, the many questions like such questions of theology, like why we are here, and the philosophy, the mind, which is the argument of Dr. Bansal, that brain and mind, the interplay between brain and mind, and what Dr. Bansal argues, that the mind is the brain, basically, our brain is the mind, and then once you know the function of brain, then you can also control on it. So also Dr. Bansal deals with the such questions like why we are here, like our responsibility being here, and then how it functions, complete our body or our characters based on brain or mind. So I would like to welcome you all for this discussion. This program is going to be like this. Dr. Banerjee will speak about the book and understanding of the book, and then we can have a discussion. Dr. Mousumi will be discussing about the book with the author, Dr. Suresh Bansal, and after that we can open the floor for the audience. They can ask the questions. This discussion is for everyone, like can get engaged in this discussion, because not limited to the academic, but also to the related to our daily life. So be relaxed about this, not to get like, okay, some technical terms will be coming, but you be relaxed. You can ask related to your life and the characters also, like, or your problems also, because we have a doctor, neurologist. So I would like to speak a little bit about the author and also the discussant, Professor Mousumi G Banerjee. So Dr. Bansal is passionate about writing books related to life science, social living, and ever-changing, challenging lifestyle. He holds a doctorate in medicine from Pigmere, Chandigarh, and a medical university par excellence placed directly under the Parliament of India. And he has been a professor there. And Dr. Bansal has about the 3 dozen of research um, um, has been writing many research works and has participated in the many conferences. He has also been facilitated by WHO and the Indian Academy of Neurology. Professor Mousumi G Banerjee is currently the director of the English and Foreign Language University, Regional Campus, Shillong, Meghalaya, India. She is also the head of Department of English Literature at the campus. Previously, she held position as the officer on this special duty for administration and OSD for admission and examination at the university headquarters in Hyderabad. Her published works includes numerous articles and books such as Writing Across Genres, Indian Literature, Language, and Culture, daring to write, The Two Creative Daughters of Victorian England in 2015, and Emilia Dickinson Writing as a Woman in 2017. Professor Banerjee has honored with the Fulbright Nehru Postdoctoral Research Fellowship in 2019 and 20, allowing her to pursue research at Amherst College, USA. She also received the Research Association Associateship at the UGC University Center of Humanities and Social Science in Shimla. She was recognized by the President of the United States for her participation in Department of State Exchange Program. She has a deep interest in the Indic philosophy and Indic literature and English literature as well. And also she has been the advisory board of advisors at Umran Green Perspective Foundation and Umran Academic Research Association. So without any further ado, I would like to invite Professor Mousumi, who will speak about the book, The Mind, Do You Want to Change? And then Dr. Bansal and Professor Mousumi will be having discussion. So Professor Mousumi, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Good evening, everyone. And at the same time, good afternoon and good morning, as I always say. I may take it, in accordance with the part of the world you are in. So I'm once again delighted to be here meeting all of you because I myself was looking forward to this discussion. Because this, again, is an extremely important and stimulating book that we have on the table today for discussion. And the name of the book is The Mind, Do You Want to Change? Now, as we were discussing off camera a short while back, that we have had, a lot of technological advancement, a lot of scientific advancement, a lot of other kinds of advancement, but seldom do we really find time to introspect our own selves. I mean, rarely do we find a time to examine our own minds. And this is a perfect opportunity where we are all gathering today and reflecting on what mind can do. In fact, it has immense possibilities, and that is something that perhaps we do not recognize. So it's not only the book that I'm going to discuss, but at the same time, I would be bringing in onto the table today for discussion a lot of other issues that perhaps have served as a background to this book. So I would like to begin by saying that in the confusion of everyday life, the only faculty that remains in the dark, or at least very often dangerously threatened to, is that of thinking. And thinking is something that the mind does, an act that in its intenser sense can be considered phenomenal to the act of philosophizing. Now, hardly do we talk about thinking. We do think. In fact, it is said that, well, we cannot not think, right? So even in our sleep, we think. Even in our dreams, in fact, we think. So, dreams are actions in themselves, in one sense. So, and when we talk about these phenomena, people normally think that we are philosophizing, but it may not be so also. So the reality of this fact is that human beings are potential thinkers, but not all are actually so. Hence, thinking is an action that is made possible by a deeper seeing into things, objects, and circumstances of the lives that is lived every moment. This seeing into demands, in its turn, a deeper perspicacity that gives birth to resounding questions about the truth of existence, both of man and the world. This threefold pursuance of truth, that is thinking, because it is the mind that can conceive of the truth, and it is the mind that can actually, really come to know the truth. So I call it a threefold pursuance of truth, which is thinking, seeing, questioning. And this is an endless process that sometimes baffles the engaged mind and causes it to rise above the considerations of the material world, which only emerges as a secondary form of truth to it. The insatiated mind then seeks more in the course of this endless phenomenon and tries to weave a mental narrative that is often complex, sometimes ingenious, and at other times personal. But the most elated form of such a mental activity as thinking would be transcendental. And the mind can be said to achieve this height of transcendentality when it is able to see things as pertaining to one whole. We discussed Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam a few days back. So, being able to see things as one whole that cannot be otherwise humanly envisaged in its totality. The mind becomes the site for a perpetual construction and reconstruction of the world, a startling performative that ideates, struggles to express, undoes such expression and creates again. So this is how the mind, functions. It constructs, it reconstructs. Okay, it breaks what it constructs and again constructs. Now, in the process, what we get are flashes of truth, and through such flashes, an image of a constructed world, perhaps truer than the one felt to be true by virtue of it being lived. So I really welcome you all to this engrossing book discussion. At least we feel that this is going to be very engrossing because I found the book by Dr. Suresh Bansal to be immensely so. It is entitled, as we know, The Mind You Want to Change, to repeat the title of the book. And I could see the depth and realization with which the work has been primarily conceived and then achieved. It is, of course, an immensely fascinating subject, and probably at the day's end, we usually forget to assess our own mind and examine it closely, as I was telling you a while back. Dr. Bansal thoroughly reflects on the inner reality and reminds us of the need for self-introspection in an extraordinarily complex world as ours. Today, we deliberate so much on the aspect of interdisciplinarity in teaching and research, right? So I was lecturing elsewhere in a university at their faculty induction program. And I myself was talking about interdisciplinarity at length and its importance and why we should bring interdisciplinarity to our approaches, to teaching and research. And here is a work at hand that we are discussing today that demonstrates as to how this dimension could be made an extremely innovative use of. For instance, in this book, Dr. Bansal brings along applied neuroscience, neurology, psychology, spiritualism, and philosophy to give us a categorical understanding of the mind and the ways in which it works. The best part of this project is that the author provides practical solutions to confront present-day life and improve the quality of life. He also negotiates with the difference between the mind and the brain. Now, here comes a crucial point in the book, and I would choose to extensively talk about this today because this is also, a very stimulating debate, once again, that the book deals with. So, it's extremely engaging, and I find this as one of the most important aspects of the book because it is a conceptual, it's a crucial conceptual dichotomy that we may often tend to miss out on or even sometimes misunderstand. Now, I would offer you another reason as to why is this book is so importantly contextual and worthy of a critical deliberation. Because I'm sure we are not unaware of the fact that as the 19th century progressed, the problem of the relationship of mind to brain, you see, as I was saying that I would really delve on this a little, not much, but some very important things that we need to know about this dichotomy, that dichotomy that exists, in fact, over here. So the problem of the relationship of mind to brain became even more pressing, right, as the 19th century progressed, as I was saying. Now, indeed, so deep was the concern with the mind-brain relations that it is difficult to find a systematic text written after 1860 that does not contain a discussion of this issue. Now, to a large extent, this directly reflected two major developments that converged to impress philosophers and psychologists with the centrality of the mind-brain problem. Now, the first of these involved the progress in understanding the localization of the cerebral function based on the idea that the brain serves as the organ of the mind. So this was the first kind of conceptualization that came into existence. The second involved a growing familiarity with the thesis that mental events, for instance, our beliefs, mental suggestions, mesmeric trance states, psychic traumas, and the like. So these mental events sometimes bring about radical alterations in the state of the body. Now, this change occurred as progress was made in understanding the nature of functional nervous disorders. Now, before proceeding further, we will briefly describe some of the major mind-brain perspectives articulated in response to these trends. Now, although the theories of the mind-brain relationship prevalent in the 19th century, for instance, you see, you had epiphenomenalism, interactionism. So these were the theories that were there prevalent. Then you had dual aspect monism and mind stuff, right? Which were all formulated in the context of science. Like, their predecessors, they were attempts to deal with the metaphysical complexities of the Cartesian impasse. Cartesian impasse, I believe you are aware of, our Cartesian dualism, isn't it? That is cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am, isn't it? Because Descartes believed that the point of connection between the mind and body was the pineal gland, okay? Also called the pineal body or epiphysis cerebri. I mean, I'm going a bit too technical, but, I just cannot do without mentioning certain things, because here I'm talking about that, phenomenal distinction between the mind and the body, or maybe the mind and the brain, in fact, the brain being one of the organs of the body. So I was talking about Descartes, who believed that this connection between the mind and the body was the pineal gland, okay, which is a tiny gland in the human brain that is located beneath the back part of the corpus callosum, which is, again, the primary commissural region of the brain consisting of white matter tracts that connect the left and right cerebral hemispheres. It is actually a part of the human endocrine system and secretes the hormone melatonin. And the main function of the pineal gland is to receive information about the state of the light-dark cycle from the environment and convey this information by the production and secretion of the hormone melatonin. So it was that kind of a belief, that existed when Descartes said, cogito ergo sum, okay, to link the mind and the body in that way. Now, I was talking about these theories that existed in the 19th century. Epiphenomenalism, right, was the one that I mentioned first. Now, just to give you a brief on what epiphenomenalism is or was, it was actually a position in the philosophy of the mind, according to which mental states or events are caused by physical states, okay? Because we have these changes in our mind because there are certain changes in the physical body. That is why, or events in the brain, but do not themselves cause anything. It seems as if our mental life affects our body. And via our body, the physical world surrounding us. It seems that sharp pains make us wince. So I'm giving you a small example over here. When a sharp pains happens, we tend to wince, isn't it? It seems that fear makes our heart beat faster. When we are afraid, our heart begins to beat fast. Now, it seems that remembering an embarrassing situation makes us blush, right? And it seems that the perception of an old friend makes us smile. So why do we do all these? Now, in reality, however, these sequences are the result of causal processes at an underlying physical level. What makes us wince is not the pain, but the neurophysiological process which causes the pain. Okay, what makes our heart beat faster is not fear, but the state of our nervous system which causes the fear, and so on. Right? Now, according to a famous analogy of Thomas Henry Huxley, who was active between 1825 and 1895, and who was an English biologist and anthropologist who specialized in comparative anatomy. For your reference, he was, also known as Darwin's bulldog for his advocacy of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. I was talking about Thomas Henry Huxley, right? And he was of the opinion that the relationship between the mind and the brain is like the relationship between the steam whistle, which accompanies the work of a locomotive engine, and the engine itself. And how is that? Just as the steam whistle is caused by the engine's operations, but has no causal influence upon it, so too the mental is caused by the workings of the neurophysiological mechanisms, but has no causal influence upon their operation. So this is what was understood as epiphenomenalism. Now coming to interactionism. Now this in Cartesian philosophy and the philosophy of the mind implies those dualistic theories that hold that mind and body, those separate and distinct substances, causally interact. Okay, they would causally interact, which in epiphenomenalism was not the case. Now, interactionists assert that a mental event, for instance, or when someone wills to kick a brick wall, for instance, Tom, wills to kick a brick wall, can be the cause of physical action, his leg and foot, moving into the wall. Conversely, the physical event of his foot hitting the wall can be the cause of the mental event of his feeling a sharp pain. So he could feel a sharp pain in his legs. Okay, and that is why he could, operate his foot in such a way that it hits the wall and his pain is to a certain extent relieved, at least momentarily. Okay, so that is interactionism. Now, two difficulties over here confront interactionism. One, as different substances, mind and body, are so radically different in quality that it is difficult to imagine how two such alien things could influence one another. And two, physical science, when interpreted mechanistically, would seem to present a structure totally impervious to intrusions from a non-physical realm, an appearance that would seem to be as true of the brain as of any other material aggregate. Now, coming to this dual aspect monism, also called the double aspect theory. Now, this is a type of mind-body monism. Now, according to this theory, or the double aspect theory, as it is also called, the mental and the material are different aspects or attributes of a unitary reality, which itself is neither mental nor material. Now, the view is derived from the metaphysics of someone called Benedict D. Spinoza. I think you all have heard this name. He was active between 1632 and 1677. So I'm talking, about the Enlightenment period. Okay, a Dutch Jewish philosopher and one of the foremost exponents of 17th century rationalism. and also one of the early seminal figures of the Enlightenment. And as you know, his masterworks include Tractatus Theologico Politicus, published in the year 1670, and Ethics, published in 1677. So Spinoza held that mind and matter are merely two of an infinite number of modes of a single existing substance, which he identified with God. There's a single existing substance, right? And mind and matter are merely two of an infinite number of modes. Now, in this view, there is only one ontological kind of entity, but this entity is not there at the cost of another one. That is, the mind does not reduce to the brain, and the brain does not reduce to the mind either. And hence, there is no ontological or conceptual priority. So we don't prioritize one above the other. Neither is the brain prior, nor is the mind. Okay, so there is no ontological or conceptual priority, and both the mental and the physical are on a par. Right, so that is this dual aspect monism, or the double aspect theory. Now, coming to the mind stuff theory, which is the assumptions that our mental states are composite in structure, made up of smaller states conjoined. Now, this hypothesis has outward advantages which make it almost irresistibly attractive to the intellect, and yet it is inwardly quite unintelligible. Because it supposes that our mental states are composite in structure, made up of smaller states conjoined. Now, atoms of feeling, you know what I mean? Atoms of feeling cannot compose higher feelings any more than atoms of matter can compose physical things. As in physical science, we believe that atoms of matter would compose physical things. But what about atoms of feeling? Can atoms of feeling compose higher feelings, is the question. Now, the things for a clear-headed atomistic evolutionist are not. Now, nothing is but the everlasting atoms. Now, when grouped in a certain way, we name them this thing or that thing. For instance, some atoms are grouped together in a certain way that we call a substance a chair or a table or, something else. So when grouped in a certain way, we call a particular thing that thing, right? But the thing we name has no existence out of our mind. This is again going back to Platonic philosophy, right? So the ideal is in the mind. And since we know what it means, okay, since we know, for instance, a table, we know how a table looks like, right? And that is why the image is already there in our minds. And when we see a table, when a table is given to our vision, we know that, well, this matter is called a table, right? So when grouped in a certain way, as I was telling you, we name, a particular thing, that thing. Now, but the thing we name has no existence out of our mind. So the states of the mind are supposed to be compound because they know many different things together. Now, since such states indubitably exist, they must exist as single new facts of, or effects on, possibly as spiritualists say, the soul. But at any rate, independent and integral, and not compounded of psychic atoms. So these are these psychic atoms in our mind, that work in some certain ways to evoke some certain feelings that we, experience from one time to the other. So the theory of mind stuff, therefore, is the theory that our mental states are compounds expressed in their most radical form. So, as you can see, in the 19th century, there was an entire body of literature that held that many mental pathologies could be explained by supposing that each individual potentially had two conscious brains, not one brain, but two brains, right? Now, madness, for instance, resulted when these begin to interfere with each other or otherwise functioned independently. Now, the left-sided localization of language by Broca, you might have heard the name of Paul Broca, who was active between 1824 and 1880, a French physician, anatomist, and anthropologist. So, as I was saying, the left-sided localization of language by Broca in the 1860s complicated matters by showing that the two brain halves functioned differently. Now, Broca argued that functional asymmetry was a reflection of man's capacity to perfect himself. Soon the left hemisphere was transformed into the superior, uniquely human side of the brain. Considerable effort then went into seeing how far the functions of the right hemisphere complemented those of the left. The resulting dichotomies of the mind and brain interacted and sometimes also conflicted with the duality of mind theories. Now, in the 1880s, the Paris School of Neurology helped bring about a revival of interest in these theories with its startling metalloscopy and hemi-hypnosis experiments. Now, so with those ideas in mind, we have to, of course, Dr. Bansal is in a better position than me to explain to you as to what metalloscope would mean and hemi-hypnosis would mean. Hypnosis, of course, is known to all of us, which is, a changed state of awareness and increased relaxation, that perhaps allows for improved focus and concentration. It is perhaps also called hypnotherapy, right? So that is how it is. So, and there are certain ways in which it is performed, of course, and for instance, using verbal repetition and mental images. So, with these ideas in hand, we have to consider the book in which there are a total of 14 chapters divided into 2 volumes, each with 300 plus pages. Now, there are more than 150 diagrams, or more precisely 157 diagrams. So you can imagine the detail with which the book is worked out. Tables and algorithms that are color-coded to make the concept easy, quick to comprehend, and generate the desired learning and actions. Now, the book offers an enriching perspective of Dr. Bansal's significant experience as a senior neurologist who is practicing for more than 5 decades. The work throws light in unique ways on how the brain and mind, the dichotomy we were talking about. So how these two are formed and how thoughts and feelings originate from consciousness as well as from the powerhouse called the subconscious mind. This interdisciplinary research is not a casual read, but rather requires attention, making it ideal for college and university-going students and researchers, and anyone interested in understanding themselves and the world around them, because it deals with the ways in which modern-day challenges could be faced. Challenges, for instance, anxiety, fear, compulsions, of various kinds, in fact, I would say, fatigue, bad habits, beliefs, relationships, knowing one's worth, which is very important at this point in time, navigating success, striking a work-life balance, cultivating peace, and living enjoyably so that there is personal growth, fulfillment, a satisfying life, and lasting happiness. To conclude, I quote from the author here, and the author says, this script explores, because you see all book discussions should also involve readings, from the book, in fact, from the text proper. So I cannot resist reading a couple of paragraphs for you from the book, which I felt immensely enriching to me, and I'm sure this would enrich my audience as well here. So this script, the author said, explores the structure and operation of the human brain and mind, as well as its neurobiology, connections, memory, data storage, attention, concentration, cognition, intelligence, consciousness, and awareness. It does so throughout 14 chapters. These are the fundamental components that go into creating thoughts, identities, attitudes, behaviors, and the subconscious mind with its incredible untapped potential. This is followed in the continuum by an in-depth examination of the nature of the mind, the difficulties we encounter, and our position in the universe. This sheds light on the study of the mind and mindset, creativity, self-evolving traits, persistent anxiety, rage, and betrayal. The reader's perspective will be aided in conceiving ways and means of creating a flawless strategy for self-help testimonies, embracing the challenges of our daily lives constructively. The final 3 chapters address yoga's role in promoting serenity, life's purpose, philosophy, karma, human discipline, and the range of self-modification. The majority of self-help books are published without a scientific foundation, leaving practitioners to rely solely on recommendations from their own experiences and informal discussions. I based this book on my 5 decades of medical experience and well-acknowledged scientific data. Although it isn't meant to be taken seriously, it does call for a basic understanding of how the brain and mind work and their incredibly intricate mechanics. So that is, authors speak, in fact, and, I heartily congratulate Dr. Bansal on the accomplishment of this book. And it offered me such an engrossing read I cannot describe, but it was immensely enriching to me. And since I am myself interested in the philosophy of the mind, no better work than this could have been apt for me to discuss over here. So I thank Rajiv for this program, for this opportunity, and this was an extremely engaging read for me, and I'm sure our audience here also have meticulously gone through this book and have tried to introspect as to who we are, how we think, and how we ought to think, as I said, in an extraordinarily complex world as ours. So thank you, Dr. Bansal, for offering us this book. And we wish you come out with many such creative endeavors that would continue to enrich us. Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you all very much for your presence and patience.
Can I take the things, Rajiv?
Yes, please.
First of all, thank you, Omran. And I'm very much enriched and very much grounded, thankful to Professor Banerjee. She said so much as far as the history of the anatomy, the basis of the foundation of that of the brain and its function to an extent. And well said. Most of the time, most of the people, they are just coming over here. They uptake certain things which is provided to them. To a limited extent, they have self-talk, and they just absent-mindedly move out. So this is what I feel is the short stay. This is not the meaningful. This is not the worth with which one is vested with from the Almighty. See, as far as the anatomy is concerned, whatsoever Professor Banerjee said, I'll like to put it in 2-3 sentences. You see, as far as the neural bases are concerned of that of the brain and mind, while discussing this book at a number of platforms, there was always a point whether the mind has created the brain or the brain has created the mind, or what is the relationship between the mind and body. So I have said everything in this book: brain, mind, then body, then spirit, then soul, and then ultimately what? from where to where. So that is important. You see, once we are talking, so I would like to question to myself or to all the audience, where is the mind if there is no brain? Where is this speech in case I'm talking to myself? Unless you hear it, you see everything is evidence-based. Everything is knowingness, learningness, of becoming aware of it, ultimately conceptualizing the thing. Because unless we learn the things, we cannot reproduce. Let me think, because as far as this book is concerned, I like to go in the way it has been told by Professor Banerjee, matter and energy. I have gone more deep into that. You see, matter and energy, and at one time, what she said, I also felt. As far as the emotion, sometimes I felt that I am just maybe billions of atom bombs, or maybe, sorry, atoms and subatomic particles. But these subatomic particles are atomic particles in human being or other living beings or non-living beings. They work in a different connotation. Their composition by the different elements. You know, we have to get into this. There is a structure as far as the atom is concerned. The many atoms form the molecule, and each atom is having some sort of property and characteristics. We cannot go away from the fact that this is H2O, or this is water. Water is dry. Water is wet, because that is the characteristic of it. So our characteristic is that we have to know from where we have come, with what is we are vested with. So not going too much into detail of every point, what I like to discuss with you is, somehow we have to know and understand that human beings or any other animals, they are produced by virtue of some sort of genome, some sort of union, male-female, or maybe in certain animals, hermaphrodite. So what comes, and when it comes, when a person becomes conscious, and there is a mind, there is a brain. First of all, I like to question myself, is there any mind? Conscious or subconscious mind, or unconscious mind, or preconscious mind, different type of minds without brain? Possibly not. As a neurologist, I will not say no. I do know, as far as the pineal body is concerned, as far as the right and left brain is concerned, as far as the brain and body structure is concerned, I must tell you, this is known as, there are situations when there is a, let's say if there is some insult to the brain at 1 year of age, and let's say one part of the brain is gone, the part of the body which is being controlled by that particular part of the brain which is affected during infancy may be totally different. The hand is different, the face is different, the shape is different, the texture is different. So they definitely, and at the same time, if there is no muscles, the nerves will start shrinking. What's that? Body and the nerves. Suppose if we are not using it, I say it, even in the old age, use it or lose it. In case we are not using anything, we are losing. The same is true as far as the brain cell is concerned. For me, which I have reduced, which I have seen, I will not like to put forth that the consciousness lies over here, brain lies over here, mind lies over here, or what was the history in the past. But what I will say is, everyone says that the evidence-based science. Nowadays, this is an era of functional MRI, and wherein it has been profoundly clarified, which is Broca's area, which is the right side hemisphere dominance. For your information, Albert Einstein had a right side, right brain this dominance. As far as the structure is concerned, though the left side, to put it simply in that way, I'll say the left and right hemisphere. Left is head and right is heart. It's not exactly heart. Left is thought, right is emotions. Thought and emotions, they are almost glued together. They evolve. They are sown in the awareness, memory, comprehension, which is on the substratum of the consciousness. So from where the consciousness comes, from where the knowingness comes, awareness of self or surrounding. At one time, we used to say, as far as the consciousness is concerned, is awareness of self and surrounding. And Professor Banerjee well said, we are alert during sleep. There are dreams. And I must tell you, most of the activity, as far as the neuronal based are concerned, the other part of the healing is concerned, is during the sleep period. In the sleep period, this is the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind, which becomes more active. And conscious mind is only 10%. And the subconscious mind is 90%. They have to work in unison. One is thought, another is emotion. So the thought comes slowly and slowly. I was wondering from where the thoughts come. You see, in case we are going to talk about its neural correlates. So, nowadays, even the brain cell has been cultured. So I was wondering why the Newton should be able to say that this is the law of gravity, why the Archimedes should be saying that this is the law of floating the things. From where all these things come, from where ideas come, from where intuitions come. You see, all this is human brain, maybe brain of the other animals also, we don't know. But somehow I feel, as far as the human brain is concerned, this is possibly the biggest, but I'll say the biggest of that of the whale also. This is 7.5 kg weight as far as the brain of the whale is concerned. As far as human being is concerned, it's about 1.5 kg adult brain. At the childhood, it's about 700 grams. So what I want to say is the human beings, somehow we are vested with a better brain, the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe itself, which is concerned with our intelligence, orientation, then consciousness and learning, our placement, our awareness, all this is in the left side of the brain. All this is in the frontal lobe. See, the frontal lobe, the basic frontal area. What Professor Banerjee said is the pineal body. Pineal body is one of the component of that of the limbic system. The limbic system is related with the subconscious mind. Where lies the subconscious mind is in the upper part of the brainstem. There lies the amygdala also. Now, simple example I like to give the two things, amygdala and the frontal lobe. See, amygdala is related with the emotions and feelings. Now, feelings, maybe in thousands, they are going to form emotions. So there is the emotions definitely checks the thoughts also. There is so much sort of interaction. It's unimaginable. See, as far as the brain is concerned, I must tell you, this is comprising something like a good number of billions of cells, trillions of cells. In case we are going to talk of their connection, so-called synapses, that is something like 230 billions of connections. They keep on changing. Right now, it is keep on changing in all of us. Whosoever is talking, whosoever is learning. There is a self-talk also. You all guys, whosoever is listening me, you are talking to your own self also. Am I making sense? So are you comprehending? So where is that? Where is the comprehension lies? So comprehension will be there only when we are alert, only when we are awake. So a person who is sleeping, he is not comprehending. He is not subject to perception. But maybe he's subject to perception of his self-talk, inner dialogue, self-engineering. To that person will be conscious, because that's what the dreams are for. And next stage to the dream is the Sushupti. Sushupti means deep sleep. Deep sleep means the perfect sleep, in which we say, yeah, today it was a wonderful sleep. Someone is telling us. So this is the awareness of the self. This is the awareness of the surrounding. There is another important thing is awareness of unawareness. We know that we do not know about certain things. So this knowingness, this awareness, this consciousness, this memory, this comprehension, this is very important before we proceed ahead as far as the formation of the mind is concerned. Because the mind, to me, of course, there may be, this not only I'll say duality, dichotomy, I will say there is a lot many more. The brain is having not two-way, this dominant brain or non-dominant brain at the anterior part of the brain. You see, recently one of the this neuroradiologist, he has shown in the laboratory where lies the ego. Should we have or not, as far as the ego is concerned? Should there be ego dissolution or not? So everything we need a balance for a good balanced life. See how to make that, how to find that what is the good life. This is our individual perspective. But at the same time, we have to be in the comfortable zone. We have to be ultimately having a satisfying life, everlasting happiness. So basically, this book is to provide you each and everything, as far as I have not gone into too deep scientific terminology. This is simple terminology, which can be digested by the non-medical person. Primarily, many of my friends also ask me, have you written, you being a neurologist, with an experience written a science book. No, no, no. This is not a science book. Surely this does as science. The science book, you can take in that way that this is based on the facts. This is not my whims and fancy. This is what is known. This is known by virtue of the evidence available. Now this is being more, so you know, someone is saying, what is the galactic year? How far is the galaxy from the Earth? Have someone measured it? It is just, it's a matter of somebody's horse mouth. We'll quote, sub-quote historians and other things. So I will take the things with a pinch of salt. Because we have to be more, as far as the evidence is concerned, again, this is relative. It's not complete evidence. We have, I attending the American Academy of Neurology meet, they said, who believes in the evidence? Raise the hand. So my hand was half. It was not like this. You see, the evidence is not full. As far as I will say, I just now said it to someone else. As far as the sky is concerned, how much our eyes can see the sky, the space, the bodies, the heavenly bodies, how much actually the sun can show it to us. This is the capacity of the light versus the capacity of that of the human eye, where there is interaction, and that becomes the so-called the visual perception or evidence, which lacks it. We know it. There is a visible spectra as far as the physics is concerned, and there is a non-visible spectra. Same is true as far as the hearing is concerned. We cannot hear certain sounds. Other animals can hear it. So they can be of different wavelength. So that's why I'm saying the evidence is limited. No, this is all is evidence taken, comprehended, known. See, even I will say the words. From where the words come? I'm talking some English words. So maybe I speak some other language. But as far as the emotions are concerned, possibly they are same. As far as the human being is concerned, all over the world. Maybe the animals are concerned. The animals also do cry. They also have some sort of pain, maybe emotional pain. Right? So same is true as far as the human being is concerned, irrespective of their caste, creed, acquisition. There may be a person who is sitting the hutman, or there may be a king as a queen, loving the child, her own child. So both the mothers are going to have same sort of feeling. So everything I have taken accounted for as far as this book is concerned, as maybe energy, maybe matters, maybe fission or fission. We know it. From one electron, there can be the sun which can be created. That is fission or fusion. So by virtue, there are, at a given time, right now also, there may be billions of galaxies which are being stars or solar systems, they are being formed or they are totally gone. So that may be to us. I just keep on saying, as far as human being is concerned, 90 years. Which 90 years? 90 Earth years. I will say 10 Saturn years. This is as far as the small our solar system, which is almost non-existent as far as the total universe or multiverse is concerned. And this is hardly existent as far as the space is concerned. The galactic, the heavenly bodies possibly don't exist as far as the space is concerned. We don't know how big is the space. So all this philosophy, the approach, and the other things I wanted to share. Why? For a very clear objective and a cause. Can we dig out? Can we navigate? Can we pursue the same things in a different way? You see, in case I am reactive to something, as the subconscious mind can be, as the right hemisphere can be, as the amygdala can be. Somebody just slaps me, abuses me, challenges my ego. So the amygdala will come quickly. That will be reaction. No. We don't want reaction. A person who is acknowledged, wise, and experienced is going to have action rather than reaction. No, the action is by the frontal lobe. No, the frontal lobe is relatively cool. The amygdala is hot. So there are various sort of structures. There are various type of pathways. This has, see, otherwise this is, as I said, there is about 40% of the brain, which is gray matter, which is neuron, the nerve cells. 60% of the brain is white matter. Now the white matter interconnects to each other as far as the brain cell is concerned. You see what Madam Banerjee said, of course, if we know somebody's voice, we'll say, oh, this may be my friend. Oh, this song, yeah. When I was in the 10th class, or when I was in the primary school, I saw this picture. This was lovely. This was graceful. And the memories and the thoughts also goes in that. So how the thoughts are created, how the emotions are created, how the mind is created, what are the steps in which way the mind is made, the aptitude is there, the thinking process is there, the behaviors come out, the experience, the ultimately observation, the relations. No, the relation can be different. There can be interaction. The interaction there is that I'm liking this shirt. So this is my interaction. This is again some sort of behavior. I may throw this shirt because I don't like it. So liking, disliking, that's also linked with our behavior as far as our emotions also, that's also linked with that. But at the same time, the thoughts also. And the thoughts ultimately, in the way Madam said, they are taken care of as far as our brain is concerned in the engrams way, in the picturizing way, in the different type of semantics. Suppose if I am to say, bring a chair. So I need not to describe to the person to whom I have requested to bring the chair, because he knows the chair. Suppose if I say, okay, bring something which is having 4 legs, 1 seat, one this armrest, and that should be cozy, and that should be this. How much time that will be going to? So for that, to make that sort of concept, that the concept making, the ideas making, ultimately all these things are lying, because nowhere it is written primary memory, secondary memory, tertiary memory, and the other further memory. You see, I'm telling you, as the primary memory is concerned, I'm telling you, as our Hindu rituals are concerned, subconscious mind becomes active in the womb of the mother by 6th month of pregnancy. But we are not aware. Our awareness starts somewhere in 2 years of age, when we start forming the memories there. The memories, raw memory is there, because otherwise, who will tell to the child to cry for the milk? Who will tell the child how to swallow the milk? Swallowing reflex is just written over there, as far as the brain is concerned, as far as the mind is concerned. You see, another way I must tell you. See, one of my patients who had epilepsy, he was son of a colonel. After the epilepsy, he just cut his arms absent-mindedly. He was not knowing anything. And thereafter, after the medicines were given to him, he was asking his mother, what is this? And she said, yeah, this is air condition. So what is this air condition for? And she said that this gives us the cold air. Now, what do you mean by cold? Do you think that somebody has told me and you that what is cold and what is hot? And there are so many other things with which are liking or disliking. Why we are having different perspectives? Why we are having different likings? And that's what I'll say. Listening to Professor Banerjee 2 days before, this is what the word is, sankalpmai srishti. In the way we think, in the way we perceive, in the way we calculate, in the way our knowingness is there, cognition is there. For example, a person who is having 90 IQ, vis-a-vis another is having 120 IQ, there has to be difference. As far as the word finding is concerned, sentence making is concerned, body language is concerned, expression is concerned. And of course, they have to take along all the way throughout their life, emotions along with them. And that's why thoughts and emotions, they are reciprocated to each other. In the way the body and the mind is reciprocated to each other. In the way the mind and brain is reciprocated to each other. Because without brain, there is no mind. And without mind, there is no brain. Because I always say, the brain is the king. The mind is the prime minister. And the various applications, because in this book, I have tried to give the symbolization along with a computer. See, there is a RAM, there is a various sort of meridian segments where the memory is stored. So in which way we can recover that? In which way there are various ways which I discussed, we can change ourselves, our bad habits. And that's very much important. That's very much required. We are addictive. We are not addictive to only the drugs. We are addictive to a number of things. I may be addictive to eating. So that is going to create obesity, metabolic syndrome, or I'm addicted to maybe some other things in life. So same is to as the mind is concerned. There are the various components of the minds to which there can be addiction. Same is to as the book is concerned. So this book is not addictive. This book cannot be read in a sleeping room. It's not like that you are going to the sleep and for the layer's sake, you can read this book. No, this is a very good book. It has involved me thoroughly for 3 years, 10 hours in a day, in which I wanted to dig out the best possible evidence based on the various scientific tools, including to a great extent, sociology also. In fact, good number of social scientists feel why there is a so-called self-help book or self-transforming or empowering books by the others. Why not by the sociologists? But it's okay. I will say we are incomplete. All of us, we are just like a drop of water in the ocean. The ocean is complete. The total universal consciousness is complete. The total universal consciousness may be something, what we say, God, we don't know. That may be pure energy. How we can say that that particular God is in the shape of he, she, human being, or some sort of other thing? So it, to me, it all appears to be energy. To me, it appears to be some sort of combination, permutation of various atomic particles or subatomic particles at the micro level, and the macro level, you see, the sky is the limit. So as far as this book is concerned, I've tried to engage with all the perspectives. As far as the structure is concerned, as far as the function is concerned, as far as, you see, as far as the fear is concerned, fear is one of the important things. We are all born with the fear. We cross the road, we see left and right. See, we try to eat something, we see cautiously. See, let's talk a person who is blind. Let's talk a person who is not hearing. So if there is no input, there is no perception, then maybe some sort of limitation. Still that person slowly and slowly with touch, or maybe through the nose smell, or maybe through the taste, there may be some sort of data processing inside the brain. But data has to be there inside the brain. Unless the data is there, perception is there, there cannot be language, there cannot be learning, there cannot be sentences, there cannot be communication. And brain, in addition to mind, is responsible for our locomotion, transfer, dynamics, the taking care of all the organs of the body. But at the same time, mind is also contributing, as well said by Professor Banerjee, that there is going to be adrenaline rush. But this is not only the adrenaline. There are so many other hormones. I must tell you, the adrenaline half-life in human body is 8 hours. In case we are under stress, that stress bad hormone is going to sustain in our body for 8 hours. Even with yoga and best of the other virtues, in case we create other good hormones like dopamine, like serotonin, 5-hydroxytryptamine, their half-life is only half an hour. So how we can compensate 8 hours bad effect of that of the adrenaline with half an hour of good hormones? You see, as far as the hypnosis is concerned, is a very interesting subject. You see, this comes in the modulation. As far as the subconscious mind is concerned, this is both your friend and foe. In ultimately, whatsoever I'm talking to you right now, it's all my subconscious mind. My language, my way of talking, my way of prosody of language, in the way I'm trying to put the words. This is our body language, maybe with little emotions. Because the language is not only verbal language. The language is there, body language. The language can be there in the eyes also. Language can be there in the inside also. Because we keep on talking. Rather, we keep on talking more with our own self rather than with the word around. With the word around, we cannot change the things most of the time. But we can change in our own self. That's what is written in the book. Total transformation. Can you? Yes, I have tried on myself. I believe it. You go through the book, the people, word at large, they have written their own experience. They can change their figure. Whatever the madam said, people can get the surgery also done without anesthesia. They can have a good control. So the control is very important. Where lies the control? This lies in the subconscious mind. And I have given the big picture also over there. The conscious mind, the left hemisphere, the headstone is a gate. Unless the gate is open, you cannot go to the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is the big source, the total source, the whole life experience, observation lies over there. That is in the raw form. So, in fact, the gate has to be opened. If I want to talk to you, first of all, I have to make sure about my conscious mind. Yes, I want to talk to you. But once I start talking with you, then it's my subconscious mind. So, the mind and brain. Subconscious mind is possibly mind, and the left hemisphere, conscious mind, is possibly brain. So they have to be working together simultaneously. And of course, what is there? What is going to, as the brain and mind is going to do if there is no body? So there has to be body. So body also gives feedback. So they, you see, as far as the neuron, I should not go into the detail of the formation of that of the brain cell. So they do have feedback. Immediately, if a say, electromagnetic waves or the electrical activity inside the neurons decide that this is to be done, this is to be programmed, this is to be executed, immediately the impulse which is ultimately going is checked. Even over here also, in case I'm going to feel the sensation, touch, pain, temperature, pressure, and other thing, this is going to have a check right now over here also, and then it is passed on to the brain for the further interpretation. So in that way, the body is important. The body is having some sort of feedback. What is more important? Somebody's take. Somebody can said it in my other interactions. Mind is better than. But I ask myself, where is the mind if there is no brain? You see, as far as the consciousness is concerned, we are still, because of so many theories, maybe hundreds and hundreds of theories, whether this from where the consciousness comes, I don't know. You see, we know it that there are two cells, mother and father. They become 4 cells. They become 400 cells. That is just flesh, nothing but flesh. So they are the precursor cell. From there starts the formation of the various organs, and they are still not alive. Maybe alive because they are dividing, but they're still not conscious. Where from the consciousness comes over there, and it makes a person ultimately having subconscious mind. That's what Abhimanyu knew about the subconscious mind and the process. I must tell you, as to the brain is concerned, this continues working even after death, at least for 24 hours. So that is what the process of auto-digestion. So what happens? The brain eats itself. So brain is the only important thing, which being only 3% of our total body area consumes 20% of our blood. So this is the so much energy, needing the energy. No other part of the body is needing so much energy to work. So I have written all these things. I have written as far as the fear or the anger is concerned, or the stress is concerned, how we can form stress reserve, just like a bank account. So for SOS, maybe some sort of financial security. Can we have some sort of emotional security? Can we have some sort of other reserve, which we should make, because we should try to be cool. So what are the various ways, what are the various means of modulating, transforming subconscious mind, how we can check as far as our aggression is concerned, or anxiety is concerned. You see, I always say, from where the panic attacks come. I see so many patients of panic attacks. Panic attacks is becoming more and more common in the present day world because of the high hopes. There's a lot of conflicts. Everyone is becoming rich as far as the finance is concerned, where everyone is becoming poor as far as the health is concerned, maybe the physical health, or this may be emotional health, or mental health. So in that way, a person over and above fear, which is a inculcated type of thing which comes along with the memory, feelings, and emotions, the fear, then there is a conflict to do or not to do. In case we are wise, in case we know our capabilities, capacities, our boundaries, and you know, the pigeon cannot fly high as high as eagle. So we have to know our limits, boundaries. So in the actualization, in the reality, in case knowing everything, we should not be in conflict. So in case I want to buy an aeroplane, a private aeroplane, I know that I don't have money. Why should I be in conflict? So one should be in actualization. So all these things has been discussed in this book. What is actualization? What is introspection? Where you see, I sometimes talk to myself. Okay, do meditation. Do you? The people know they say, as far as the psychedelics are concerned, that has been passed in Australia to be used by the psychiatrists or under the psychiatrists for maybe checking the panic attacks and everything. So coming to the panic attack, in case there is a conflict, then there is a acute anxiety, then there is a chronic anxiety, then there is a panic attacks. So panic attacks is the possibly worst part of thing, because this is going to create a lot of problem as our total body is concerned. You know, we all hear every day, oh, that person was great, slim, trim, and very cool type of person. Somehow I don't know. And no family history. His father lived up to 90 years of age, no genetic predisposition. But still, he lived only 40 years. He died of heart attack. You talk of all these persons who are sitting on the helm of affairs, administrators, their cholesterol is high, their lipid profile is high, their adrenaline level is high. See, all those, we do not know what is happening in whose inside brain or inside the body, which hormone is playing bad things, why the cholesterol is high, why they are becoming young diabetics, why they are becoming young hypothyroid people. So all these things are important. So can we check it? Can we transform it? Yes, we can, surely, and purposefully. And another important thing is the addiction. Addiction has taken, as far as North India is concerned, a good part of the world is concerned. I'll say even about the Manipal. The Manipal basic problem is the poppy growth. So taking that sort of thing, basically for the addictive people, again, can addiction is going to fulfill the objective of the life? Is some sort of I have listened to one person, a scientist, who took LSD for his own ego dissolution, because ego dissolution is going to be there to a little extent with meditation also. But is ego dissolution or doing meditation is a perfect thing? I don't think. I don't think that is the purpose of life. I don't think that one should meditate in remote areas away from the society. Why not to come to the society? Why not to give your best to the society in the hygienic way, in the better way, and enjoy your life to the fullest, in a nice way, not with your own way, but in the way the people around you like, in the way the groups, in the way the society, in the way the country likes you. So that's what my take is. This is what the book is going to tell: how to live, why to live, from where do we come, what is the purpose of life, how do we evolve, how do we step by step evolve. You see, the ego which was there in the adolescence, the ego which is there in the adulthood, the ego at old age, they differ with time. How the ego changes with time. I have touched the father of psychiatry also, id, ego and superego. But where lies the ego? How the ego is formed? What are the composition of ego? What is the composition of mind? What is the composition of mindset? What is the composition of attitude, aptitude? What is the difference between attitude and aptitude? You are going to find everything in this book in a simple way. You see, all these things, each word is having so much to be known, to be written about. We can sit, we can write, we can discuss, maybe for the months together. But still, it will be fall short of its truthfulness, its righteousness. It's a universal opinion. There is going to be different type of opinion. As far as the emotion is concerned, as far as thought is concerned, there are multiplicity at a given time. Right now, I may be having this thought or that thought. You also may be having this thought, and you are having different type of emotions also. Somebody who is sitting over here may be having short of time. They have to go and they have to do something else. So there are so many things which is going on right now. You see, that's why I say the human mind, human brain is dynamic. It has been proved. The proof is that the one brain cell, that's what is known as neuronal plasticity. The one brain cell is having something like 0.1 million connections. Now, these connections, they keep on changing. In nanoseconds, this has been proved. This has been, because earlier, of course, it was a history, it's a lovable history. And the history was from those who were sitting on the helm of affairs. But now we are having evidence. We are having evidence as far as, they took yogis from Tibet. I'll talking of the Mass General Hospital in Massachusetts and in the Boston. And they could create all the environment of Tibet over there in the lab. And they were made naked, and they could dry up a wet chadar, the sheet, cloth sheet, within a span of 3 minutes. And they recorded what is happening in the MRI of the functional MRI of those yogis, that persons. Nowadays, we are having different criteria of knowingness, more things to know. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I will say this knowingness ultimately remains like throwing the pebbles in the sea or ocean. We are still to continue. We have to evolve. We will continue evolving. We will continue searching, researching, and facing, of course, everything of walls, riders, and problems, challenges, at individual level. We don't know what is going to happen next moment, but we have to embrace them. We have to welcome. I'll say I like to welcome that. Why fear from anything? We have come over here. We have not granted anything, but whatsoever we should be granted. We should know about the things which can be known, with which we have been provided by the Almighty. You have been given so nice armamentarium that you can dig anything, you can make anything. But this is your call. You have to know first. You see, That's not true to the right extent, but in one of our surgical book, it's written, but the mind doesn't know, I don't see. If I have not seen a human being like this, then my eyes will not appreciate that this is the human being with 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 ears, and lips and mouth. You see, in case we are going to go in and never know it, this Brahman, this universe, multiverse, there may be other solar system, there may be other life over there. Life doesn't mean only the human life. There may be different type of life. There may be different type of individuals who are more intelligent than us, who are manipulative than us. So this is all a thing which I have discussed over here. Kept the things open-ended. It's nothing, it's sort of imposition on the reader. It is from the reader's perspective. It's an open book, and it's adding my own experience also, and the experience available from whole of the world. As I told you, because my first PC, as I discussed with you, Rajiv, was something like 30 years before. So over and above, a neurologist, I am a deep thinker. So my brother-in-law is just sitting over there. He's Mr. Anshar Agarwal. He's a director of National Informatics Computers placed in Delhi with the Ministry of Defense. So you see, with him also a lot of interaction as far as the computer science is concerned, and how to dig out the various sort of opinions, because this whatsoever we are interacting with, this is again because of the technology. So I'm trying to say the things that this is a book which each and every person should read, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the religion. There is no imposition. There is nothing, anything which is biased, personal bias, religious bias, or social bias. This is a pure, simple, non-fiction, scientific-based, self-help book, self-modifying, self-empowering book. So for which I feel each and every person is going to have something of real good use. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Rajiv and Banerjee and Umran, giving me time to speak with you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Bansal, for that elaborate explanation on the book and the logic that has actually formulated or helped you formulate the thesis of the book. So, and I'm sure, given the kind of interdisciplinarity, as I was saying in my deliberation also, that the book is marked by, this actually brings in so many disciplines within its gamut, that this is a book that is going to interest, everyone irrespective of the disciplines one belongs to. So this book cuts across, disciplinary boundaries, and puts before us some stark realizations. In fact, sometimes, as I was saying, that in the midst of our relentless action in our day-to-day lives, we forget to stop and really assess our own actions. And you see that there is no cessation to our actions, and we even forget who we are, what we are here for, what is really our purpose, what are we here doing. So we don't normally assess our actions, is all I'm saying. And this book is a resource that would compel the readers to self-introspect, which is most important. Not only does it bring in several disciplines into work, but also it would propel some ethical action on the part of the readers, which perhaps also is the objective of the book, because it deals with some very real problems of life. I mean, it is not fiction. It is something that is based on experiential knowledge, and that is why the book is remarkable in terms of its value, the kind of value, I mean, that it can bring to its readers. And as you were saying, so do I perfectly agree with that. The kind of learning, the kind of realization, the kind of knowledge that it brings would certainly be transformational also, which which I mean is very difficult to attain. But this is a book that has that potential to bring that kind of transformation in the actions of individuals. So I would now like to open the floor for questions, though I would myself also want to ask a couple. But before that, I would want to see if any member of the audience has any question for the author, for Dr. Bansal. So it could be a question, it could be a comment. I'm extremely sorry for my voice. So it could be any kind of an opinion also. Your thoughts on this book. So anything that you would like to say, and the kind of importance that it bears for you too, because this is not only a self-help book, of course it is one, but it is still a different project altogether, because it is infused with both the disciplinary and experiential understanding of life and humanity. So that is where the book excels and stands apart, I think, from the run-of-the-mill self-help books that we find, because this book is not meant to be competing with any of those best-selling books. It does not need to be a best-selling book, but it is such a book that I promise would touch you once you actually go through it, and once you try to imbibe it, imbibe the ideals, I mean, that are dealt with in the book, that have found expression, I mean, in the book so very starkly. So any comments or opinions or questions there are on the book, please feel free to go ahead and speak of the importance of the book to you, and how it can impact audiences far and wide, because I'm pretty sure that it would in many ways. And it is a huge endeavor, mind you. It has 2 volumes, I think, going over more than 600 pages. So the length of the book itself also does give us the idea of the kind of endeavor, the kind of effort, the kind of research, the kind of understanding that has gone into the making of it. So we are really proud of the fact that we are a part of this discussion on the book today, and these books are really needed more and more in these times. You see, because we are into academics. You see, we are into teaching and learning, as well as in academic administration. So a lot can be derived from this book, because this book has certain elements that could also impact a leader, you see. I mean, could also help in administering, you see, what we are doing on a regular basis. So that way too, the book is important. I see a raised hand from Rajiv. So Rajiv, is there any question or comment or opinion from your end?
Yeah, I think I had so many questions. I took much more interest in his work, and I already had communicated with Dr. Bansal, and I don't want to say like I congratulate you for a wonderful book, but I congratulate myself as well along with you. Like it's a collective achievement, because it's ignite our mind, and as everyone, like we have been discussing about that, we have been forgetting many things, and then it shakes again the mind. It shakes the mind again to ask the question, the purpose of our life. So I have so many questions. I don't know like from where to start, but I think I would like to have one by one, because as I said, like I will have ample of time to ask many questions back and forth to clear my mind also, because I have been also thinking so many things related to the questions. I mean, this burning questions and about being my being. So first, I would like to ask, the question, because I would like to ask the question later, the second question, which is from where we are being coming, like your philosophy that is based on the Sankhya philosophy somehow. But I want to ask that there are various thoughts, okay, but why we pursue a particular thoughts and also believe it is right, and others thoughts are wrong. So this will be my first question. Then I want to go one after another, if like we don't have many questions then. So I want to start with this.
Yes, it's very interesting. What you asked is very, very good. See, basically, the thoughts and thought doesn't grow up on the awareness or memory consciousness alone. Most of the time, thoughts trigger emotion or feelings, or feeling triggered thought. It is still controversial, and it is ultimately perceived that thoughts and feelings, because feelings form the emotions. So thoughts and feelings, they come together. See, this is one of the very important things, because unless there is thoughts alone, because thoughts alone are not there. Most of the time, whatsoever now you're asking, now your mind. So the mind means feeling. Now the feeling, those thoughts, those memories, which is wrapped in the emotions that go for a long time. So this is taste by taste, one after the another. Thoughts is also right now, as Madam said, there should be total silence. Most of the time there is no total silence, but total silence is very good. Total silence is not only that I am not speaking. Total silence is when there is total inside silence also. There is a randomly 2,000 thoughts in a human mind, which has been worked out and has been shown in the laboratory in 1 hour, in all of us. And in case we are going to patronize it, there are some routine thoughts. Routine thought is that we have to get up, we have to go for the office, we have to have bath, we have to have shower, then we have to eat, when we have to drive, and these are the ways and other things. Then there are certain other prioritized thoughts, which is related to our needs, for some greeds, for maybe for another lust, or depending upon somebody's mindset, right? Or somebody's personalities, so or somebody's emotions. So that's why nowadays we say, because thoughts is one of the important things as far as the learning is concerned. But at the same time, emotions also play an important role as far as the learning is concerned. So I will say, once we are talking of thoughts, or we are talking of emotion, possibly they are same thing, but possibly they are different thing also, because this is what is perceived. Because the IQ is related, intelligence quotient is related with the thoughts and intellect. But as far as the emotional quotient is concerned, that is related with the feelings and emotions. So is emotional quotient in the present day world, or in the past world, or in the coming future world is going to be better as far as the IQ is concerned? Yes, to a reasonable extent. Because emotionality, emotional maturation, emotional learning, emotional intelligence, EQ is going to be far better as compared to IQ. But is the IQ is of no use? No, this is of use. So still I'll say there are so many people in the present day will say, oh, okay, hard work is more important simultaneously. Yes, that is. And now is coming the era of that of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So where are we standing? Is the artificial learning or this machine learning vis-a-vis the hard work, vis-a-vis the emotional quotient or the intelligence quotient, which is going to be more important? Thoughts, in which way they are going to be found? As I said, they are found by the emotions. They are found by the liking and disliking. There has to be some inherent properties. This is the neuron's inherent properties. From where there is the inherent properties of the neuron depends on the electrical activities. Then I'll go into the more in the science. So there are various sort of ions, cations, anions. There is action potential. There is sodium, potassium, then proteinous material. Inside the neurons, there is electrochemical activity, and out in between the synapse or the connection, there is a hormonal activity. So this neuronal activity, neuroelectrical activity, and hormonal activity is going to be decisive as far as the type of thoughts are concerned. and the type of emotion also concerned. Because this is, as I said it, now the brain cells has been cultured. They have shown it. It's not possible to show in this discussion, but it would have been possible in case you like it. I will show it, that these are the brain cells. They have been cultured, and they are just roaming. They are becoming crazy to find each other, to make a connection with each other. So these are the brain cells which connect with each other through the association fibers. So there is a different area as far as the vision is concerned, different area in the brain. As far as the hearing is concerned, emotion is concerned, the thoughts are concerned, intelligence is concerned, ego is concerned, or the mindset is concerned, aptitude is concerned, persona is concerned, action, reaction is concerned, observation is concerned. Everything is having different area which is there inside the brain. But as far as the neural correlates, in which way they ultimately, as Madam Banerjee said earlier, the two hemispheres, they are connected to each other. In epilepsy, we cut those two hemispheres. This is just like a walnut area. The brain is just like a walnut. So we cut the two hemispheres. Still, the people have a normal life, normal body, and normal action. So that is important. But at the same time, they can work independently also. Human brain is having huge capacity. See, earlier we were saying brain cell dead means permanent dead. But now we say that the brain neuron cell formation is known as neurogenesis, formation of the neurons. But now we say categorically, it has been shown also that there is some area of the brain wherein there are some sort of father or the precursor cells of that of the neurons which they remain dormant. As and when need be, they are converted into the new brain cells. So that is known as secondary neurogenesis, right? So that's the thing wherein one can change one's own thought also. See, thought, to know the thought, to define the thought, to actually know from where there is a negative thought, where is the positive thought, how we can convert the negative thought to positive thought. All these things is again electrical activity. It needs patience. It needs knowingness. It needs to deepen, open the window to the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is such a thing where your habits, your liking, your disliking, your emotions, your beliefs, your mature memory lies over.
Can I continue with my question? I can combine my question and then maybe you can take the Nahid's question.
Thank you.
So you said like you mentioned that when we sleep, then our subconscious mind get more activated, like 60% or 70%. Then it's better for us to sleep, I think. Now it's better to sleep all the time. So we come in the subconscious mind, like to have the closer to the truth, perhaps. Then I combine whole questions and then also ask some of the technical questions, like that you mentioned, that I think Professor Mousumi also mentioned, that psychic atoms. So like, is that feelings are the atoms, or perhaps the thoughts are is like a matter, atoms, like which can be counted. This, and then when we say like we have a purpose, like we want to like reduce our anxiousness to become a better one, and then this is the strive that we come when we come in the life. Once we were in womb, we were much more subconscious, but then when we come out, then we become unconscious. Then we like to have to meditate and then go to the better subconscious life state, like perhaps that is what perhaps in the Mandukya Upanishad that talks about the 3 stages of our consciousness level. So we struggle for everything. So why don't we like when we are try to get rid of this, this whole this is the get rid of all this mind and body interplay, perhaps, or mind and brain interplay, perhaps. Why want to reproduce then to have another life to go through the same struggle? So we can stop reproduction or the procreation. We can stop procreation to get rid of like eternal peace, perhaps eternal, the shanti, sushupti, perhaps. so this was the question for me. Like, and then when I was also thinking, my thoughts are also thinking like I'm talking about, when we think more, then we also become more anxious. Perhaps we become more aware. Perhaps this was my thought. I was thinking, for example, if I give an example, the child beating child was a normal, like in our society, a father beats child is normal, but in the Western society it is not normal. So and then it becomes the reason for the anxiety and psychological depression and many more. But in my society, it's normal. We cannot become anxious. So this awareness about the culture awareness, perhaps, or even the development of this kind of awareness and the culture also causes us anxiety. It means if we don't know, we are less anxious, perhaps. This was my another observation, and I want to ask you. And also I want to ask you, like, when we die, and then we have a brain, the thoughts are there, memories are there, whether these memories dies when it is the atoms and can be counted and then seen the what was there. So these all questions are there.
So basically, Rajiv, it's very nice. It's more like a discussion which you have done, and there are many questions which you have raised. All can be answered, but this is going to take time. I'll take few of them. So whatsoever level, first of all, you said sleep. Yeah, of course. To begin with, for all your question, I will say we have to find the middle path. Too much of anything is going to be bad. Too much of thinking is bad. Not to think is bad. Too much of sleep is bad. Not to sleep. For example, as far as the subconscious mind is concerned, it's a dead mind. It of its own, we cannot use it. Up to the extent, I didn't talk to it, but in the book I've discussed it. There is something what is known as subliminal currents. What are these subliminal currents? You see, sometimes we'll say, oh, no, today I'm feeling sad. This is no good. No, that's all not worth listening at all. See, somehow it happens like this. So from where that feeling comes? So that feeling comes in the undercurrents. The undercurrents is subliminal currents. Subliminal currents are those currents which does not come to the threshold level. So we are unaware of those things. Those things are also going on right now. So there are so many things which is going on. So why to sleep? Because as far as the sleep is concerned, then we are not, sleep is okay. Because there is a difference between the consciousness, unconsciousness, sleep, anesthesia, as far as the neurological unconsciousness, level of the unconsciousness, or the level of the consciousness. This all things are totally different. We can take hours or days and months together to discuss all these things. You see, basically the sleep is required for so many things. Sleep is the area when there is a lot of healing process goes. The neural ways, not only the neural ways, as far as the healing of our disease, our immune system, or other things is concerned, that becomes more active during sleep. Your point shouldn't, why we should not keep on sleeping for more time? No, that is not done. Because that is, again, I've discussed in this book, as far as the various characteristics of the life and the environment and the nature, what is known as in Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma is Rajoguna, Satoguna, Tamoguna. So that is also going to affect, because the time, place, person in the which you said why there is no acceptance in one part of the world, another part there is acceptance. So that's what is the various factors. It's the individual factor, it's the social factor, it's the familial factors, it is the maybe national factors. So that's why I'll say always time, place, person, environment, your own features, your own biological factors. For example, I'm talking to you having pain abdomen. You are not attentive to me because of your pain abdomen. Or if there is no light and there is some background noise, again, there is going to be a problem. So ultimately, we have to find the best possible, and the best possible is the middle path. May it be thinking, may it be emotion, may it be emotional maturation concern, may it be wakeful state, may it be unwakeful state. What happens after the death? See, there is again a controversy. There is always a controversy as to the human being is concerned. Let me tell you, even the uniovular twins, they are going to behave differently as far as their mindset is concerned. See, they may have the same sort of kidney, they may be having same sort of tissue as far as the uniovular twins are concerned. See, but there is going to be difference of opinion. So there is going to be difference of opinion as far as what happens after death. But my point will be, what was there before that, before birth? So this happens the same thing, what was there before birth. So the other way of saying this is, what's your question is, maybe certain people have come out with another philosophy or a talk, so-called astral body. I'm not talking of Sanatan Dharma. I'm not talking of Hinduism. I'm talking of the word concept. What happens after the death? Reincarnation? Is this astral body? Is this the memory also taken along with that? In that situation, mind becomes super to become the primary focus rather than the brain. Because I said the brain is structured, mind is the function. Brain can be seen, function cannot be seen. But in this way, in the way you are talking, this has been talked about. This has been discussed also. If there is a mind, this can create brain. This can create body. So in that way, I'll go to a more different aspect as far as the meditation is concerned, or our Sanatan Dharma is concerned. You must have heard of it. I have discussed to a little extent as far as the Samadhi is concerned, Raj Yoga is concerned, Hatha Yoga is concerned. This is one of the Patanjali Yoga Shastra. This is one of the 6 Shastra of the Hinduism, the strong, just like Vedas. So Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this is having 8 steps of meditation. In the last part of the meditation, once I am having zero thought, once I am having the same thing, what Rajiv is, what Madam Banerjee is, I feel I am not Suresh, I am Rajiv, I am Madam Banerjee. So we 3 are one. We are not different. We not only 3 are one, the word is one. The group is one. The religion is one. The living is one. So the difference is maybe because of the characteristics and properties. This is imbibed from the nature itself. I said it that there are certain people who are maybe psychopaths, there are certain yet another people who are saints. But this is a type of mindset. Why that happens? Why a person is an idiot having only 40 IQ? Why another person is a genius having 140 IQ? So you see, this is again having a neural correlates. This has been shown, their connections. As far as the female is concerned, why they are having better control on the speech, why they are having good as far as their attachment is concerned, emotions are concerned, binding is concerned, interpersonal relationships are concerned. Men's are totally different. So this is all by virtue of, again, the brain. Even if I'm going to talk about the anatomy of the brain, this is different as far as the human brain is concerned, male versus female. And this is different as far as neurogenesis is concerned to create a different type of circuits. Nowadays, we never know how many circuits are there, but now with the help of the advanced MRI tractography, which is again a science in which we can show these are the fibers which is starting from this area to that area. These fibers are this much. This is color coded, and this is, as I told you, no, reaction is amygdala, action is forebrain, frontal brain. We know it that in the heat of moment, I'll say I slapped someone, I abused someone. But at the same time, better brain will say after some time, the action, oh, what was the need? I could have avoided it. So that's why, as far as the subconscious mind is concerned, or the sleep is concerned, or sleepiness is concerned, or while getting into sleep is concerned, or while getting out of sleep is concerned, or while getting into hypnosis is concerned, you are opening the gateway of that of the subconscious mind. So it's not like that. We keep on sleeping, and we do not give any chance to the conscious mind. See, it is ultimately subconscious mind is creating a lot of good health and transformation to the back-end sport of that of the conscious mind. The conscious mind have to take the call. From one area to the another area, it is the conscious mind which is going to go. The subconscious mind is the great power, empowerment, which is taken along with the conscious mind. So the brain and emotions, headstrong or heartstrong. So one has to be both. I'm not saying the heartstrong is going to be having the supremacy. No, it's not like that. There cannot be sleep. There has to be alertness. It's not only wakeful state. I will say not only wakeful. Alertness is important. Vigilance is important. Attention, concentration is important. Interest is important. Only then one is going to conceptualize the thing. Of course, the known language. See, as to the memory is concerned, there are prerequisites. The prerequisite is one has to be conscious. Second, one has to be alert. Third, one has to be familiar with the word or the action or the different type of mechanisms or tools or whatsoever a person or another person is doing or the society is doing, that this is what it is, or this is what is the trend is, this is what the spiritualism is, this is what the religious is, this is what the faith system is. What is, because they have to This is another thing which is to be known. Once you have not known what the English word is, you cannot conceptualize what I'm speaking. So this language has already been there. So only then the memory comes forward. And then thereafter, there is a registration. And this registration remains, it all depends. I have discussed in my book, the registration is 5% to 95%. So single reading is 5% only. Reading and discussion, 80%. And nowadays, because of the YouTube and so many other things are available, other audios, videos are available. So they are going to be concept formation is something like 60 to 70% is concept. While doing my doctorate, we were 5%. Each of us, we used to, there was no internet at that time. So for one point of difference of opinion, 5 of us from the different area of India, we used to pull each other's leg. Controversy raised. Controversy solved only while 5 of us used to go to the library, sit over there at that time for 5 or 6 hours. Now this is with the touch of the button. I must tell you, as far as the International League Against Epilepsy is concerned, they used to have a meeting every 10 years. Now they are having a meeting every 3 months. This is what the telecommunication has done. So the innovation, evolution, and then the fruiting, I don't mind. See, it's not like that I'm having a very hard opinion, cannot be changed. I think we should change it. It's only one life to live. We should garnish it. We should enjoy it. It's best without harming others. In unison, in hand-holding, in good relationship. You see, I love you, I love you. Love you what? So love you everything. So why the love goes hayway within a span of 2 years? So one or the other person, the discrepancy, the emotional fatigue or the relationship fatigue comes in. There is a divorce and there is a fight. Why all these things happen? Because we do not understand each other. We do not understand realistically our own self. We do not know what am I. So I am I, but I am a small I in a very big I. I'm, as I said, a drop of ocean, a drop of water in the ocean. I'm non-existent as far as this planet is concerned, Earth is concerned. What is my proportion as far as this Earth is concerned? I don't exist. So the Earth doesn't exist as far as this space is concerned. This or the other humanly body is concerned. What is the importance of the Earth as far as the sun is concerned? The size of the sun is concerned. So that is another resource. In case the sun is not going to be there for 10 years or 10 days only, there is going to be havoc as far as the Earth is concerned. So all these things, ultimately, we have to come with the middle path. You said, as far as the progeny is concerned, what is the objective? See, I will say, from where do we get the best gratification? And that is sex. Don't we? Shouldn't we agree about it? Why there is some sort of issues being raised as far as the social inhibition is concerned in country like ours? Why there is too much disinhibition as far as the developed countries are concerned? Why there is no middle path? Why we cannot accept each other, the good point at the bad point? I'll say, okay, you are very good in case you are on the giving end. In case you are on the receiving end, I will create havoc and all on you. No, this should not be the humanistic character. This is not the joint living. This is not the community living. So I will say the progeny is important. Not only that, because this is the gratification. This is what I feel. You know, as far as the earthworm is concerned, both male and female parts are there in the earthworm. They need not to go for sexual intercourse as far as creating new progeny. They do it of its own. Why the God has created male and female? The idea is the happiness, gratification, the enjoyment. So that's what I feel. And out of it that, and I must tell you, in case we draw a pie diagram, 50% of us, they remain gloomy, sad state. And only 10% in a day also, in that pie diagram, we are happy. So as far as the low or the pain is concerned, is far more as compared to happiness. But still, for that 10%, we are ready to bear the 50% pain. So that's what's the cake. So number of things, that's what the reality we like to see as far as the science is concerned. In case I'm going to quote you, all those 3 guys, physicists who had the Nobel Prize in December 2022, they talked of the phytons. They talked of the entangled phytons. So what is entangled phytons? I asked one of the PhD in physics when I was doing nerve conduction studies. She was sitting on the side of as a this caretaker of the patient. So I asked, please tell me, how does the rays, sun rays, come to the earth? There is no media. The rays, the light rays, they need media. No, you see, we say, if there is a media, then maybe there is small media, there may be something ether, which is known as, or there may be some broken waves, which is known as photons. So that's what has been written about the entangled photons. Ultimately, by virtue of recognition at the world level and being awarded the Nobel Prize, they have deduced this whole life is nothing but illusion. Our say is very transient. It looks like 90 Earth years, but we really don't exist. I exist in you. In case you accept it, you may not. But if this my take is that I exist in you, I exist in Madam Banerjee, I exist, Madam Sari, and I exist maybe on this chair, in this environment. I'm there everywhere. Okay, and I don't have, it is nothing like that I'm having bloated or inflated ego, or I'm the defining power. I'm the one of the part of it. Maybe the subatomic particle. We have to stay somewhere. What is the composition of the subatomic particles? What is the characteristics? What are the properties of the subatomic particles? So we are evolving. We are searching. Why we need search? Because we are still not complete. We'll keep on researching the things. So that's important. I think a good number of things what you asked in a different way, I tried to cover it, but your point was more like a discussion also, and your viewpoint also. Grateful. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for answering the question so very well and in such a detailed manner. So though I see a raised hand, but before that, I think Dr. Nahid Aslam had a question regarding artificial intelligence. So you could go ahead with the question, and after that, we'll come over to Dr. Dharampal Angra. So Nahid, could you please put your question to Dr. Bansal now?
Thank you, Mousumi. Thank you. Can I just say that I'm not a doctor. I'm just an ordinary person, just a common person.
Okay. You are nonetheless uncommon already. The thing that you said is really uncommon. Okay. Yes.
But thank you to both of you for Dr. Bansal and Professor Banerjee for your interesting discussion. I mean, I don't really have anything much to say on this, but I'm sitting here in the West, and you know, we're being bombarded with the idea of artificial intelligence going to be taking over the world. You know, in 20, 30 years' time, we won't need humans. You know, the common person will be killed off in some way. Another pandemic will come, so only the elite will survive, the economical elite. And my question is that if the mind has created everything, has the mind also created these divisions within society? Who is dispensable? The pandemic, this artificial intelligence going to take over the world. Human beings are no longer important. So the state of the world that we have today, how many people are living in fear. You know, the pandemic showed us that we are so easily manipulated by those in positions of power. So whose mind has created this? Is it the mind of the common person? Or is it the mind of the elite? Or is it the mind of the creator, God, or whatever you want to call it?
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Aslam. And you are not a common person. We are all alike. So no special person and no common person, first of all. And another important thing, what you said is about the human beings, the creativity as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, machine learning is concerned, pattern recognition is concerned. Yeah, I can talk on that. See, first of all, I'll tell you something like 10 years before, one of the radiologists from basically Indian radiologist working in America. He presented data. He uploaded a diagram. So this is the artificial intelligence, and this is the human intelligence. The human intelligence he showed at the lower level, and the artificial intelligence at the higher level. So my question was, and that was related with, that will answer your question to a little extent, though this relates with the medical science, because that was related with the finding of the brain bleed hemorrhage inside the brain by virtue of the MRI, and in which way the artificial intelligence is better than the human intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is basically a data mining. You see, the data of, let's say, 3,000 patients who had brain hemorrhage, that was taken, that was programmed, reprogrammed, and artificial intelligence, it was programmed that this is what it looks like. And these are the various variables. For example, there are 300 persons, or let's say a single person who having seen 300 MRIs, brain MRIs. So they have that sort of data experience in the brain. So likewise, the artificial intelligence that account for the data, but they forget. My question to him was, okay, as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, that may be more accurate, that may bring out the accurate diagnosis in much shorter a time compared to the human brain. But what about the other aspect of the brain hemorrhage? The other aspect is why the brain hemorrhage has occurred. There may be some other areas there may be a tumor lying on the side of the hemorrhage. There may be hemorrhage inside the tumor. Will that artificial intelligence tell us about the tumor? No. Because to begin with, in case we are going to talk about the computer, long back when there was a Kumbol, or there were various type of languages which were there in the computer, what was said, used to be said about the computer is garbage in, garbage out. So whatsoever you are going to put it in, as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, that is going to be out. So this is from where it has come. Is this the mind which has given? Is this the thoughts or the brain which has given? I will say ultimately, because we are stepping, we are evolving. So this is what is happening. Why there is a, I was talking with my daughter, she does take care of to a little extent. She's basically in a multinational company. Recently, she was there in San Francisco, and she did attend artificial intelligence and machine learning conference also. But you know, emotions cannot be told to this to a little extent. For example, if you're going to make some service boy or a robot, maybe going to put 10 out of 10 emotions in that, maybe smile or thank you and other things. That you see, one thing we say, as for the human beings are concerned, there is one false cry. See, what is false cry? With aging brain, just like the child, when the child comes in the world, the cry is not the real cry. There is no pain in the child's body. And when we, in the old age also, when we cry, that is known as a release cry. And likewise, there is a release laughter. So likewise, artificial intelligence is having emotion, some sort of emotion, not emotion, because emotion is just like sky. Chid akash, chetan akash, and chid akash means it is just like there are so many emotions, there are so many thoughts. They are like, and each individual is having a different perspective. And as far as Rajiv also asked, they are all chemical engrams. They are all chemical reactions. They are stored in the form of chemistry inside the brain cells. So as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, I will say, definitely say, and I've said it a number of times, that this can be an add-on as far as the human being is concerned. It's a sort of armamentarium, which is wonderful, which is going to take a lot of your responsibilities, which is overloading you. You need not to waste your time for trivial issues. You can always give it to your assistant. So artificial is going to be a good assistance, but this cannot substitute. I asked in one of the figure also, possibly in this book. I asked the human intelligence, asked the artificial intelligence, please give me food grains, give me vegetable. I don't know. Right now they cannot. Tomorrow they are going to plow the earth. They are going to sow the seeds. They are going to plant the seeds. They are going to do the spray. They are going to do the judgment about the climate and the other things. That is a different thing. But I have serious doubt, because this type of amazing thing, which is the human beings are vested with, cannot all be put into the artificial intelligence machine learning. Though to a limit, pattern recognition has been put in. You see, this is what the latest is, because a dog, it may be pet dog, is when it's going to bite the infant, that can be taken care of by the CCTV, because the pattern is going to be recognized as far as the anger on the part of the dog is concerned. Because when the dog is going to bite, that is going to be alarming. So there are so many things which is propping up, coming in as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned in the different virtues. But I still feel human intelligence is going to be the last word. You see, the Albert Einstein, he used to say his right brain used to be dominant. You see, his apart from the IQ intelligence quotient, there were certain people who had intelligence quotient of something like 300, but they lived only up to 40 years of age. Talk of him, he didn't talk of only of the physics. He talked of quantum physics also. He talked of metaphysics also. You see, all these things are important to know their virtues. See, we cannot stop over here as far as only this Earth, the planet is concerned. We keep on sending maybe to the near planet some satellites and other things. But what about all those things? You see, sometimes I think about the hibernation. You see, the frog goes to hibernation when the BMR goes to 0. See, in case I am to go to the nearest star, it is going to take 5 light years. So I sometimes feel that let me be having that sort of hormone in me, just like the frog. I get into the hibernation. There was one picture also, American picture, which was shown on this pretext. Yeah. So that after 5 years, that person is same. There is no aging process. And that person, by virtue of after the 5-year hibernation, not requiring anything to eat, not to breathe anything, and becomes right. But then which thing is going to go with the speed of the light? Nothing. Can anything go with the speed of light? I think these are all conjectures, hypotheses. Are all those persons who are sitting, I'll say the horse mouth, they say it and we accept. Are they having the real some sort of evidence to prove that this is this? Possibly not. And same thing is going to happen as to the artificial intelligence is concerned. Again, there are going to be pros and cons as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned. And the cons are, it is going to create havoc as far as the humans is concerned. This may be worse than the atomic bombs. As you know, right now, which part of your brain is active, which part of your brain is interpreting what I'm talking about, which part of your brain is comprehending, are you putting the things in the right perspective or not? This can all be seen with the help of the functional MRI, which part of your brain cell is taking how much of your blood, requiring the blood, how much activity is going over there, how much chemical activity is going to be there. So this is being possibly not allowed as far as the West is concerned, because as far as the telling lies is concerned, because all these so-called administrators, they do tell lies. So that can also be known, yeah, with the help of the functional MRI and with the help of the to a limit with the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is one of the strong tools in its various perspective, which is going to help the human beings. But ultimately, the artificial intelligence, you talk of the chat GTB. So this is it's as bland as anything. This doesn't have any sort of attachment. This doesn't have any sort of emotional bonding. This is just artificial intelligence. So intelligence.
But the pandemic had destroyed bondings. I mean, I don't know about in India, but certainly here in Britain, you know, people are still feeling isolated. They've lost. Many people have lost the art of communicating with fellow beings. You know, they would rather sit on their phone than go and talk to their neighbor. You know, and you talked about, you know, meditation, and you get to the certain level of meditation and we see everything as one. But actually, the majority of people never get to that high level of meditation. You'd be lucky enough if people sit, even within the Indian community. So, you know, I've been to the mandir here in Edinburgh, and people are, even within the Hindu tradition, they find it difficult to sit and meditate. I'm from a Muslim community. You know, people are supposed to be in a meditative state when they pray 5 times a day. The majority of people never get to that meditative state. It's, you know, the brain is so, you know, busy all the time. I mean, I don't have much hope.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I fully agree with you. You see, there is a difference between isolation and solitude. They are two different.
Yeah, it's not solitude. This is loneliness.
Yeah, loneliness. So we are otherwise also lonely. Now we are becoming more and more lonely. And that's what is creating problem as with the relationship.
There's 7 billion people on the planet, and we're living in mega cities, and we're still lonely. And you think, how is that? You know, just walk just walk at your door and you'll see a person. But we're not willing to talk to that person.
That's bad. I do talk to my patient. I talk to my patient who are having big ego, who are having racing of thoughts, who are having panic attacks. I tell just one thing, listen to me. Now, this is a planet. I tell this planet, the whole planet, only Madam Aslim is there. She is the owner of this planet, and she is alone existent over there. You will not need any name, any fame, because you are alone. Human beings live in a relationship. We just live in a relationship. This is the human hand. This is the human values. Which actually our name, our ego is again the man-made ego. So our recognition, our identity lies with you and me, all of us. We cannot say, I will say, okay, what you said is very well said. As far as the meditation is concerned, what is meditation? We have to define it. What is meditation? Is this ego dissolution? Is this the stillness? It is the total blindness. So I mean, stopping of thoughts. If there are 2,000 thoughts, can I reduce it to 0? No.
No.
If someone can do it, it's wonderful. But what is the idea of reducing that? That's what I said. You see, that meditation, I'm not for the ego dissolution. I'm not for the complete meditation. I'm not for that sort of philosophy that the person should take some ritual things and go into the remote areas to do samadhi and other things. No, no. I will say, enjoy your life.
Yeah, but how do you get to that stage where I can see you as me and you can see that we're all one? Well, how do we get to that? No.
Yeah. So please don't mind it. You see, what I'm wearing is this shirt, and what next beer is this skin, and next beer is inside is the flesh. So in case all these things we just remove. What is there inside? Spirit, some energy, and what inside the spirit is there? Soul. What is soul? Consciousness. What is consciousness? Collective consciousness. We have to go back. We have to go from the leaf to the root. We have come out from the root to the leaf. So we have to go in the reverse way. So in that way, in case I see, it's my perspective. In case I see that Aslim is my sister, we know each other. I take you. You are like a glass to me. I'm in you. I'm seeing myself. I'm not seeing different as far as I am concerned. For me, you are like more like a mirror. So in you, I'm seeing myself. So it's my take. You cannot change it. So how to get into that? Only get into that is that we have to improve our humanistic character. We have to see what are the so-called habits, our belief is concerned, our emotional immaturation is concerned, our greed, lust, and other things is concerned. Even in humanities is concerned, psychopathy is concerned, are there so much greed for everything, money, status, name, fame. And what is happening everywhere? You talk of any religion, irrespective of A, B, C. I will not get into this. What is there? You talk of the beginning of, you talk of Judaism. You talk of Judaism 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So everything is changed. Why there is a change? Because the people change, the perspective change, the mindset change, the intelligence quotient change, the emotional quotient change, the observation, experience, indulgence changes. So there's a different change. So why not? I will tell you, even on a banyan tree, not of banyan tree, any tree, if there are, let's say, 1 million leaves, no leaf is alive. By virtue of the sun rays falling on that, their shape is different, their color is different, their texture is different, their twist is different, their blooming is different. So we are all different, but still we are on the same root. So we have to see the root value rather than at the fruit value or the leaf value. Unless we go back, introspect, and see what we are, what is our inner self. So I have to remove all this, my ego, my religion. I will say, no, my religion is, somebody will know my religion. So where is the religion? What is the religion is for? Why there is a religion? Why there is some sort of laws? Why there is enforcement? This is just for the hygiene of the society, just for the hygiene of our life, in the living in the society, living in a system, living in a group, living in a country. So for that we have, first of all, the call is at the individual level. The call is then at the ultimate, the group level. So in case we are able to, so I'll say I will rather congratulate Umran. Once I listened Madam Banerjee talking 2 days back. It's wonderful. The concept is wonderful. Many of us, we come over here, we do not get attached to anything. We will just leave this word. Then what is the big deal? What is the small deal? People say, oh, no, your name will be there. I wrote one of the chapters in the Bible of Neurology, which runs in 70 volumes. And while writing the references were 200. He said, I'm sorry, I do not have that many pages. And please write only 30 reference, and only one page is allowed to you. And I tell you, the person who brought out the identification of that particular disease, his name was scrapped. So where is the Nobel Prize?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you very much. I mean, this debate perhaps could go on and is so relevant to our times that you know that we can go on and on this. This is a universal question as to how to get to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how to conceive of the entire world as one family. So we would quickly take the question of Dr. Dharmpal Angra, who has been waiting for quite some time now. So could you please put your question, sir, now to the author of the book?
Okay, thank you for giving me a chance. My question is very simple. It is quite known that if you are without thoughts, you always get a better sleep. If you go in the history of your life, when you are young, you were getting better sleep. And when you are getting little older, the sleep decreases. Does it mean when we were young, we were without thoughts? Does it mean when we are old, we are with more thoughts? And relevantly, second question for it is that now how to become thoughtless in the old days?
Yeah, very nice question. Very nice question, sir. So let me tell you, I do discuss the same thing in a different way to my patients. I'm not saying, sir, you are not my patient, you are my senior person. And with the respect, I'm trying to tell you the way I discuss the thing. See, we came over here with the white paper. Nothing was written over there. Very soon, nowadays, particularly with the bombarding, burgeoning information, telecommunication, and so many other things, we start writing, and we make it black. There is no space, more space left over there to rewrite the things. So I tell to number of my persons to whom I interact with, create some space. See, otherwise, what is happening nowadays? Obsession is increasing, racing of thoughts is increasing, flooding of thoughts is increasing. The sleep is getting defected. There is a broken sleep. Whenever they attend the nature's call, they come back to the bed. There is the same thought process, racing of thoughts, they start coming in. You see, racing of thoughts is by virtue of the possessions, by virtue of the obsessions, by virtue of the attachments. Get detached. So how you are going to get it detached? You need detachment only when you are having attachment. So your attachment should be limited. This may be self-love, this may be love to anything, money or your status or name, fame, family or anything. So that should be not too much. Not too much thought process. That's what the simple thing was as far as the childhood is concerned. So that's why we say as far as 2 years or 3 years is concerned, the data is not much. So that's what we say the childhood is the adult father of the adulthood. That's why we say the parenting is one of the very, very important thing as far as the human living is concerned. Possibly that is not being taken care of in the right way in the majority of the world.
Thank you for explaining so nicely. Thanks very much.
Yeah, sure. So that was a very important question also. In fact, all the questions are extremely wise and thoughtful indeed. I think that is why sometimes we compromise on sleep, but that should not discourage us from thinking. Since we think, we are. If we don't think, we would cease to be, actually. So that is why thought or thoughts is or are important, and therein lies the importance of the mind. In fact, perhaps we are differentiated from, you say, the animal folks, only in this, perhaps. That's the only line of differentiation between humanity and, the other forms of species. In that we can think, and perhaps they also do. In fact, they also, perhaps have their own language, which is incomprehensible to us. And so is our language incomprehensible to them. But perhaps man can problematize the universe in a much more complex manner, and that is why, sometimes peace, or sometimes, a restful sleep can be compromised in that sense. But that, again, should not be concluded in this way, that we would cease to think. We have to continuously think. We would have to continuously problematize issues, and then only shall we be able to arrive at solutions. So it is thought or thoughts that would enable us to find out solutions for life. For instance, when you were asking about your neighbor not wanting to come up to you and talk, so I think a little bit of initiative from our end is also needed. If we can really forget these barriers of thought or thoughts and walk up to our neighbor, for instance, and talk, and perhaps just over a cup of coffee. I mean, these simple gestures of behavior can change a person's perspective. You see, this would really take a time. You were mentioning the pandemic to be one of the reasons. Of course, the pandemic is one of the reasons. So it would really take one generation, in fact, to gain that normalcy back. In fact, we are still not in a fully normal world, as it were, and it would take some time to really go back to that condition of normalcy that we were in that pre-pandemic world. I think. So thank you all for your very insightful questions. Thank you for the brilliant explanations, Dr. Bansal, on your book. And this discussion was enabled only because we had the book in front of us. And I think we should have more such discussions on philosophical issues such as the nature of human existence, the philosophy of the mind, and you see the philosophy of science, the mind and brain, dichotomy, and so on. So you see, there is a lot to discuss on these aspects of philosophy, which of course can be thought of in the future. So thank you all very much. It was such an engaging discourse that we went beyond 2 hours. In fact, it's going to be 2.5 hours. So we can understand, how engaging the book is and the discussion is or was. So thank you all once again very much for your presence and your time. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Over to Rajiv. Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor and Dr. Bansal, and all the audience. Thank you very much. We would like to see you again for the another talks. So thank you and good night. Thank
yes.
Thanks a lot. Thanks all.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.